Welcome to the Rolling Around Podcast. Join me, retired Stockton PD James Nance, for exciting conversation.
You know, he got shot down and he ended up stealing an old airplane.
And tons of interesting guests from all walks of life.
Stockton don't play.
I got so excited they almost threw me out of the hospital.
Stuff they never show on TV is
Dragging people out with bags on their heads.
2 more streets, and then he crashed into the fire hydrant.
And so,
Here we go. And I'm starting to realize that we're not going to live to the end of this flight. If you flew over certain areas, you get shot at.
This is the Rolling Around Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Rolling Around Podcast. My name is James Nance, and I'm your host. This podcast has been a passion project of mine for several years. I think the time has come for me to finally get it off the ground. When I had the idea, I'd been a lifelong Stocktonian, born at Dameron Hospital. I'm retired from the Stockton Police Department, spending 21 of my 25-year career with Stockton. I'm sure we'll get more into my career as this goes, but growing up in and around Stockton, meeting my wife, who was also a lifelong Stocktonian, raising our blended family of 4 children in Stockton, and coming in contact with and meeting some of the nicest, most genuine and civic-minded folks one can hope to meet in a lifetime, led me to this grand idea. Needless to say, Stockton has treated me very well. My goal initially was to talk to, interview, and showcase those only from the Stockton and greater San Joaquin area. Well, that'll still happen. My wife and I recently moved from Stockton to Reno, Nevada, and we've met some great folks there too. I'll occasionally talk with and interview those from other areas of my life and travels. Yes, travel. So this podcast will, from time to time, go on the road with me. We're going to talk to folks from the music and entertainment industry, military veterans, current and retired law enforcement, athletes and para-athletes, those that enjoy the outdoors, hunting, shooting sports, fishing, and my other all-encompassing passion, competition outdoor archery. I do want to add that this podcast is purely entertainment. It's not going to become political. It's not going to become polarizing. It's meant to be positive, and that's how I'd like it to remain. Not to say any opinion can't be expressed or things won't get spicy from time to time, but I want to keep things positive. It's my podcast, so I get to make the rules. The goal and focus of this podcast, by the way, are the guests. I guess I've already let it slip. It's either are or is the guests. I've already let it slip. I'm not a grammatical wizard. This is a platform for them. Not just for me sitting here running my mouth and hearing myself talk. I merely facilitate the platform for both you and them. I can tell you in many ways this project is and has been somewhat cathartic. It's been interesting, to say the least, going from a professional lifetime of meeting and talking with new people daily from every walk of life to being retired. Plus, I thoroughly enjoy talking with those that are immeasurably smarter than I am, which is a fairly low bar. Lastly, the title, the Rolling Around Podcast. In 2018, I was involved in a career-ending collision while riding my police motorcycle, and I suffered a spinal cord injury. I'm a paraplegic. I'm in a wheelchair, thus the title, the Rolling Around Podcast. So let's get this podcast rolling. If anyone has any topic ideas, guest ideas, or you'd like to be a guest yourself, please reach out. You can get a hold of me by text at 209-242-5814 or email contact@therollingaroundpodcast.com, or you can DM on Instagram at the Rolling Around Podcast. I promise you're going to enjoy my guests and what's in store. Let's go. Dan Lowry.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
Super terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Lowry recently retired from the Stockton Police Department after, 25 plus years?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Well, welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
Being this would be the first, dare I use a big word, like inaugural
Yeah.
podcast of the Rolling Around Podcast.
Long time coming.
Yeah, it has been. Has been a long time. It's been a little project for quite a while. In fact, I think from the very beginning, you might be the one that was probably banging your head against the wall trying to put that desk together over there for the command console. Seems I remember that for sure. For sure.
That's right.
Well, I think this should call for the inaugural toast.
Yes.
Right? We might as well. Why
Yes,
not?
I agree.
Yeah. All right. That wasn't bad.
No.
We'll just call that Lord Calvert. How's that? God, that's like the most rottenest shit you've ever tasted ever, for goodness sakes. My goodness. So, what's going on?
Not a
What are you
whole lot.
doing? What are you doing these days?
Well, I'm just still flying for the Army, and kind of part-time, sometimes full-time, but brings in a little extra money and keeps me busy,
Yeah.
keeps me flying.
Right on, right on. Right on. Well, let's hold on. Got something going on right there. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Well, thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
You bet. We're going to have a good time with this for sure.
Yeah.
Let's really drill down into the psyche of Dan Lowry. Given the current season, what's your most memorable Thanksgiving?
Probably after, I don't know, I think after my second deployment,
Yeah.
because I was gone. I was overseas for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
Yeah, you were gone a while.
yeah, so the year I came back, had Thanksgiving, and my folks were still here.
Very good.
Yeah, Mom always made a very big deal out of the holidays, which
Probably,
made it special.
probably way too much food than anybody can eat.
And anybody and everybody was welcome.
Yeah.
So and we always had lots of people.
Right on.
So that was fun.
Where'd you grow up?
I was born and raised in Manteca. Went to Manteca High. Barely graduated there. I think they felt sorry for me. They just go.
C's get degrees.
Yeah, C's would have been good.
I'm with you. It was a means to the end. Yeah. I get it for sure. And then
I think I was one of those kids that they would look at and say, this kid's going places, but college ain't one of them.
I get it. What'd you do after high school? You went right in the military, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty close there. I was wanting to be a helicopter pilot, so I went to the Army and was looking to go to flight school. But at the time, they weren't really needing pilots, so they're trying to get me to go into some other job that I didn't want. And then the Marine Corps recruiter got a hold of me, and I told him, no, I'm going to go fly helicopters for the Army. And he's like, well, just come on down. I'll buy you lunch. And I was like, well, I wasn't making a whole lot of money at the time, so free lunch was appealing.
Yeah.
I'll eat your food. Well, I went down there, and he showed me some videos of guys running around with guns, shooting and screaming, and I was like, boy, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I never got that lunch, but I got signed up to the Marine Corps, and away I went.
Of course. Where'd you go?
Well, I started, boot camp at MCRD in San Diego, then
San Diego.
Yeah, Marine combat training, and then I went to School of Infantry. After that, I got selected for presidential duty, so I went to Security Force School in Virginia, and from there I went to Marine Barracks 8th and 9, Washington, D.C. as a guard, and I spent some time there waiting. You kind of spend your time there waiting to get your top secret clearance so you could go to Camp David. And while I was waiting, the Gulf War broke out, so I got deployed to the Gulf War as a M60 machine gunner.
Ooh,
all
right.
Yeah, so we went there, and it was probably some of the darker days of my life.
Yeah,
yeah. It was we got into some combat there near Kofji, and we got roughed up a little bit, and but the war wasn't very long, luckily, so we somehow survived, and I came home from that, and my security clearance was in, so I went to Camp David.
Seems I recall seeing a picture of you standing next to old H.W. Bush.
Yeah, George Herbert Walker.
Yeah.
We, after 12 months of duty there, as long as you don't get yourself in trouble, you get to go to the White House and take a picture with the president in the Oval Office. And
nice.
So we got to do that, and it was pretty amazing job to get to have, because the president always had really interesting people come up, so you would get to meet them if you were in the right place, if you were on duty. And so I remember Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, when they were together, they came up with their kids and her mom. In fact, I played volleyball with Bruce Willis and some of the Secret Service agents. And,
No kidding.
yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, it was a good time. And George Strait, got to see him. He sang for us there.
Come on.
And the Supreme Court justices
Yeah.
in the chapel, and he sang for us. That was pretty cool. Don Johnson, Melanie Griffith, Arnold Palmer, and Schwarzenegger, and all kinds of people.
Goodness.
So, yeah, it was a pretty special duty
Yeah.
that not many people get to do, let alone just to get to be aboard Camp David. And I lived there for a year.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
yeah,
Right on.
That was pretty exciting.
Still text any of those folks? Talk to them? Anything like
Nobody.
that?
Yeah, not a single person.
They all changed their number?
Yeah, we're pretty tight.
Yeah. Pretty tight. Pretty tight.
Well,
Right on.
And then so after that, I came back to the West Coast, and I think Dad had a heart attack, and my uncle got murdered in Stockton at around the same time, and so the family was needing some support. I needed to be home, and so I started to separate from the Marine Corps. And while I was doing the paperwork, I worked for 4th LSB in Lathrop, the Landing Support Battalion there, and the commander there was a former college rodeo champion, bull rider. He started busting out these pictures and all his gear, and
Here we go.
like,
Here we go.
This looks pretty cool.
You're following the timeline.
Yeah.
You're following the timeline. I like it.
I was like, this is cool. And I was like, well, it sounds like an adventure, and I love a good adventure.
Yes,
So
you do.
I figure I'll give it a try. I'll do it once, and who knows, maybe I'm good at it. But if not, then I can at least say I did it. That'd be kind of cool. So I went down to
And we're talking full-on PRCA, right?
well, eventually, yeah.
Bull rider?
I started. I drove down to Morgan Hill and got on a little practice bull, and I flailed around like a crash dummy. But I stayed on.
You didn't start with mutton busting?
No,
No?
right. It was maybe a smaller bull.
It's called a calf.
Yeah, well, he was actually a grown-up bull, but he was smaller. But I rode it, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. The excitement and feeling like that adrenaline there's nothing. You can't sleep.
Yeah,
for,
you liked
a
it?
couple of days. It's just the adrenaline is so great. I loved it.
Couldn't wait for the next time?
Every Wednesday, I'd drive to Morgan Hill and go get on 2 or 3 bulls and practice, and then started signing up for little contests here and there, little buckouts. And then I went to the CCPRA, the semi-pros, and I rode in that for a year. And then the next year, I bought my PRCA permit and started riding in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. And then some of the bull riders onlys.
Yeah.
I started entering some of those. So then I ended up riding all over the state, just the Sierra Circuit. But like
I was going to ask, which circuit were you on?
Grand Nationals, the Cow Palace, a couple years in San Francisco.
Oh, all right.
Livermore Rodeo, made some good money there. That was an awesome rodeo. Rowell Ranch, Hayward, Sonora, Roundup, Folsom, all around the state. Yeah, Stonyford.
Oh, Stonyford.
That was my first professional rodeo.
Stonyford's right above Maxwell.
Yeah.
Beautiful duck club up there.
There's nobody there till the rodeo comes to town.
Nope, you're absolutely right.
Packed full of people.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. The crowd was amazing. I was definitely a crowd pleaser that day. I was in a little over my head.
As you still are.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be famous. Let's talk about this. Are you wearing pants under this desk? I forgot to look.
No.
Okay.
I nodded my face, and I was sitting on my pocket, so he come out and sent me right over the dashboard, almost stomped right on me. And scattered my chickens pretty good.
Scattered my chickens. Yeah. I like that.
I kind of gathered myself, but that was my introduction to the PRCA. It was time to step up my game.
Wouldn't change your drawers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crowd loved it.
Did you keep going after that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Right.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, yeah. So we did that. I did that for a couple years.
Yeah.
And I knew, as much as I wanted to keep rodeoing, if I wanted to have nice things, I was going to have to get a real job.
Unfortunately, you had to adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I applied. After the third try, I finally got hired with Stockton Police Department.
Yeah? What year did you get hired?
97.
Oh, 97.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you're a 13 number?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 1367. That was me.
1367. All right.
And so I started that job, and it was, another adventure.
Were you still rodeoing? Or did you
No,
stop?
I had to stop.
Yeah.
I had to stop. But because I couldn't get hurt no more, because I was getting hurt. I mean, there's times where I got hurt so bad, I got a concussion so bad, I didn't know who I was for about a day. So it got to the point where that was not good.
Yeah, no.
But still, it was the greatest time of my life.
Right
It was amazing. So here we go. We embark with the career with Stockton.
Yeah.
And so I worked patrol for a little while, and then went on to motors.
Motors?
Which I absolutely love.
We'll get into motors, believe me. What about, you were on SWAT for quite a while, too.
Yeah, after a while, I went to SWAT, and I loved that.
How long were you on SWAT? You were on SWAT a long time.
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's longer than most people's, that's longer than some careers, for goodness sakes.
That was, it's hard to do for that many years, especially as you start getting older, because you still got to do the same.
Oh, yeah.
Same physical work.
Still that, what is it, 8 minute mile or something like that?
Yeah.
Boy, as you get older, sometimes well, I can tell you I can't. Well, no, I might be able to do it now. I mean, these wheels, man, I can get them up pretty good.
Motor on there, I think we can get you there.
I got a couple motors for sure. How, what was your total time in motors? Because it was a long time.
Yeah, that was 17 years.
17 years.
I was like, that was the unicorn, because you couldn't do that. It was like 6 years you were supposed to rotate out, but I just kept finding a way to stay hidden in there.
Yeah,
I didn't want to come out.
You and that other guy that went there, I think right after training, right?
Yeah.
No names.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
Pretty funny.
To the point where we started on the KZ1000.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually went to the old Harleys, no ABS. And then we started getting ABS in them and getting newer Harleys. And then eventually to the BMW, which I thought was like, this is the dumbest thing. Do not go to these dumb BMWs. They sound like sewing machines. And then
you got on one.
They brought them to the fairgrounds that time.
Yeah.
They put me on one. I took off, and that front tire came off the ground. I came back with a big smile. I was like,
yeah,
I want one.
They were, I'll tell you what, man, I didn't get one of the 14s. I had one of the 15s. So I didn't have I had the wet clutch, didn't have the dry clutch.
Yeah.
So I wasn't rolling around smelling like dirty diapers.
Yeah.
Because those things stink when you heat them up for sure.
Oh, that was a fun bike, though.
Oh, it was. It was a great bike. Yeah, I rode the last KZ 1000.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, rode the last one until the motor just let go one day, and then I got a Harley.
That was a great bike, though.
It was a great bike. I'll tell you, that thing had some outstanding ground clearance.
That's what I was gonna say.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere.
And you weren't gonna knock that kickstand spring off all the time.
That's so much fun to put on.
Yeah, you got to have your notepad, a pencil, and a kickstand spring in your pocket every single day, because you never know when it's going to let go.
That's right,
for sure. Then you let's see, you were an accident reconstructionist too, right? You went all the way through all of it.
Yeah, I went through reconstruction. What was the other one? Vehicle versus PED, and then Crush.
Oh yeah.
Crush also. So.
I didn't do Crush, man. I don't think it's any. I probably wasn't the star accident reconstructionist. I mean, I could look at it, but when it came to math, unless it was a formula that was very clear cut, I make no bones about it, man. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, but
math is.
And you were good on CAD too.
Yeah. I liked the CAD.
You did.
Putting together the scene on CAD. That was I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it because it's all based in physics. You can't really argue.
You know, one thing about it, there is no opinion in math. Right?
Yeah,
math
exactly.
Does not have an opinion,
and that's for the first time in my life. I really enjoyed the math because it made sense to me.
Yeah. Where
before, and still to this day, I can't. That's what the computer's for. I don't do math in my head. If you want to see,
I can't.
You want to see a helmet fire? Just ask me to put a couple numbers together,
or watch you try to log in. I gotta be keyboards flying everywhere, man. Absolutely, no, I get that for sure. No, it was. I enjoyed the, not to be morbid, I enjoyed the accident, the trying to put it back together.
Yeah, putting it back together, figuring out what happened, why it happened, and who's at fault.
Yeah.
And that I enjoy. You end up having to see some stuff that you can't unsee.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
Nope.
And that kind of year after year of that, and a lot of heartache, sadness, just because of the lives that are affected by these collisions.
You know, I say all the time, you see somebody, even something as simple as crossing against a red hand or crossing between intersections.
Yeah.
I know, you know, we've just seen things that other people haven't.
Yeah.
And then when you see something like that, you just think about they're gonna be at fault, and that's gonna be the last thing that the family's gonna hear, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna hear that guy was at fault because he didn't want to walk down to the crosswalk, or maybe he was in a hurry and didn't want to wait for the green hand.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's too bad.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as that.
People often don't understand when you're writing that ticket that it's not because I just want to be mean or give you a hard time.
Yeah.
It's because we've seen people killed
Yeah.
doing the same thing, and we're trying to keep that from happening again. But
Right. And we don't just go to, you know, we never went to, you never go to an area arbitrarily.
no,
You go to an area because of, you know, something like a fatality collision.
yeah, there's a problem. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not just a roll of the dice. Let's
Yeah.
see how many tickets we can write.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. What year were you, God was there? What year were you Motor of the Year
Oh,
bestowed upon you? When was that?
I got it.
14?
I don't remember. I guess there was a couple. I got 2 years, but they never talk about the second one because it kind of just came and went. And
Really?
we
Just
were-
you were old hat then.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I got it 2 years. But the last one was kind of special because, you know, we had been on the BMWs for quite a while. But
Yeah.
my BMW was down, and it had been down for months, and so I had to get one of the old Harleys out of storage.
Probably needed a new clutch. Probably needed
Yeah, new
brakes.
clutch. It was a clutch.
Weird.
And they got to break the bike apart to do it.
How'd I guess that about
Yeah.
you? Yeah. How'd I guess that?
So
Strange.
yeah. So I had to get one of the old Harleys out, and of course, part of that competition is to clean your bike thoroughly inside and out and be inspected.
Including the inside of
The exhaust pipe.
the exhaust.
Of course, yeah,
Exactly.
inside everything.
That's
You
right.
gotta
That's how you went.
clean that thing thoroughly. So I got that Harley out of the storage at the courtyard, took it to the house, tore it apart, and just went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
You probably took that thing completely
it
apart,
was in
didn't you?
pieces. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it all cleaned up, put it together. I come riding in, boots and breeches and those mirrored glasses. It was old school.
Yeah.
it was old.
Had those sleeves probably pegged a little bit, showing off those little biceps. Yeah, those little baby biceps of yours.
Yeah, I was bringing the old
For
school,
the listeners. Yeah,
old
the
school
baby
motor
biceps.
stuff. Yeah. And then to come in and win with that bike when everybody had brand new BMWs that hardly needed to be cleaned.
Right.
That was a good one. That
Right
was
on.
special. So that was kind of fun to get that one.
I got it in 2016.
Yeah.
And I remember you were a little fussy about me
Yeah.
getting it. Why? Why were you fussy? You can tell people.
Are you did you run downstairs to get you? No, that was Crawford.
That was not me.
That-
I know that story. That was not me.
Yeah. So when they inspect you, there's certain things that you have to have.
And
I
let's just say it. There's a list.
yeah, there's a list.
Right. So if you don't have what's on the list,
Yeah.
you're dumb.
So the guy next to me hears them asking for his police ID, and he's like, "Oh darn, I don't have it." All of a sudden, I look over, he's gone, and I'm like, "Whoa, wait a second!" And then he comes back, and he's got it in his pocket, and he wins Motor of the Year. I was like, "No, not cool." But
I remember.
yeah, what did you do?
I
how did you
enlisted.
cheat?
No, I didn't cheat.
Yeah,
It wasn't
what did
cheat.
you cheated. You
It
did
is not
something.
written down. No, it's not. I had somebody come over and help me clean my motor.
that's cheating.
We put the tin up in the driveway. I got photos. Tin up in the driveway. We foamed it. I mean, that thing was sparkling. But I didn't go so far as some of those guys that would trailer their motors down. Come on.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Remember that? Wheels armor all.
I rode mine in.
For the footboards are armor all.
It's like,
Come on.
You don't armor all this stuff.
No,
it makes it slippery.
That'll hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got knocked down one year because I didn't have armor all on my tires. I'm like, "You got rocks in your head, bud?" I put an armor all on a bike where I got the thing leaned over and make that surface slippery. No, I'm good.
That's funny. And then down the road, you re-enlisted.
Yeah.
Military, didn't you? And
Yeah.
why?
Well,
'Cause it's a great story.
I knew I still always wanted to fly, and the Marine Corps not that the Marine Corps was good for me, and I can't say, bad things, but they kind of snatched that flying thing away from me, by getting me to switch there at the last minute. So I still had that kind of dream that I never really got to do. And
You had fun on that M60 though.
oh yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
No, there was good
Okay,
times.
okay.
There was some rough times, but it was good for me.
What do the Marines say? What's the blood do?
Oh, blood makes the grass grow.
Blood. That kills me.
Yeah.
That's absolutely hilarious.
Sometimes, Marines make the blood flow.
Yeah.
Blood makes the grass grow.
You Marines, man.
Sometimes it's just time to grow the grass.
Yeah. Sometimes. That's right.
But so I still wanted to. I was kind of sad that I didn't get to fly, and I was on the SWAT team at the time. And I remember one of our SWAT medics, he was talking about going into the National Guard and going into flight school. And so I was like, well, hold on a sec. I was 35 at the time, and I knew he was too. I'm like, well, if he can do it.
Yeah, my biceps are bigger than his.
Yeah, I should be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so I started talking to him about it, and I looked into it, and I remember I rode the motor over to the flight facility there in Stockton at the airport. And I met the commander, the facility commander there, and he was happy to bring me in, show me around, and tell him what I kind of wanted to do, and he supported it. And so I started down that road.
Right on.
And it was a tough road because you're not supposed to be over 27 years old to go to flight school. I was 35, so I was like, okay, I'll get an age waiver. I started realizing they got waivers for all kinds of stuff.
Right.
I had astigmatism. I couldn't pass the depth perception test, so I got LASIK surgery. Yeah. And then I had to get a waiver for that. And then when I went in the Marine Corps, I was eating crayons back then, so my score ASVAB there was like not quite high enough, so I had to retake that. Got that, where it needed to be. And
so what you're saying is nothing but the best gets to fly.
yeah,
All these waivers you're telling me about.
They have some requirements that you got to meet, and so I just kept, they kept putting all these obstacles. I kept finding a way around it until I finally got to the board, and they said, "Okay, I guess you're going to flight school."
Good.
So I was like, "Okay, here we go."
That was what 2005-ish?
2006, 2007.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that late.
Yeah, because
All right.
I went to flight school in 2008.
All right.
So and that was a hard thing to do. I had a lot of people make fun of me because I was doing it.
Yeah. But how much would it have cost you to fly helicopters if you would have? I mean, how much is it an hour to go through?
It'd be over 100,000.
Oh yeah, easy.
Just to get part of it.
Right. That's not even going commercial, probably.
No, yeah.
Right.
Because you figure you come out with your commercial ticket and your instrument.
Yeah.
And then, even more add-ons after that. But so I eventually get boarded and get sent to flight school, and so now I got a pretty good life. I was at the PD working motors. I get to take the bike home at night, and I'm on the SWAT team. I got a great little place out in the country, and so I had it made. It was really nice, and I'm leaving all of this behind to go somewhere I've never been. And I went to Alabama to flight school, and I was there for 2 years.
What is that? It's Fort.
It was Fort Rucker at the time.
Rucker.
It's they changed the name now, but
So
I was there. I went through SEER school, Dunker, and then through flight school 21. And
didn't you got interrupted in SEER school, didn't you? Didn't you get interrupted and then you had to go back? Yeah, you thought you were gonna go back and just start where you left off. Is that right?
No, I was in SEER school. It's 3 weeks. You're locked down, and
I've heard it's an enjoyable experience.
it is very rough.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's basically teaching you what would happen if you were to get shot down behind enemy lines and get captured.
Yeah.
And how to conduct yourself and what to expect, and it's pretty realistic. I was
Like Tom Cruise realistic? No? A little more?
Yeah, you love that, don't you?
Well, I just remember, he got shot down and he ended up stealing an old airplane and getting out of there.
Yeah,
right? Jet, right. Not airplane for all you pilots out there.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I was 3 days from graduating from SEER school, and I got pulled out.
How many total is it?
Total.
How many days in a SEER school?
Oh, 3 weeks. Three solid weeks. No days off. You're locked down. No contact with the outside world.
Wow.
No TV. No cell phones. No nothing. And
how do they treat you in there?
Well, there's times they treat you good, and other times when you're doing a certain part where it needs to be realistic, not so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of like what you'd expect if you're just, captured by the enemy.
Sure.
So 3 days from being finished, I get pulled out, and I have to go see the commander, and they basically tell me that I'm going to get recycled, and I got to get sent back and start the whole school over again from day one with the new group. And
so you had your little leave here for something that happened here, then you had to go back?
Yeah. So I went back and started from day one. And so now I've already been through it. The people that I'm with haven't. And so I told them, I said, if you want the experience to be yours, I won't say anything of what's going to happen. But if you want to know, you ask me and I will tell you what happens, because I know everything that happens to us every minute of the day. Yeah. They call me the Oracle because I could tell. I knew the future. Oracle. Until we got to that 3 days from graduation again, and then I was just a mere mortal like them. I was like, I don't really know what happens at this point, but it's probably not good. Right. And it wasn't.
And then what's the word at the end of it? You're liberated? Is that what it is?
Yeah, at the end, it was pretty intense.
Yeah?
Yeah, so, it was some of the best training I never want to do again, but it was good stuff. It was good stuff. So we got through that and started flying, and then
you originally didn't you go in? You wanted to fly Chinooks.
I was going to fly Chinooks, yeah, and then the needs of the Army. It's just how it works. I just didn't know at the time that that's how it works. Well, if they end up needing Black Hawk drivers, well, then they will just put you in a Black Hawk. But the problem, they just didn't tell me.
Right.
I was like, that's fine. Just let me know.
Yeah.
But
you were probably fantastic on the Chinook, right? And you had to learn all over again?
Yeah, I was just getting started on the in flight school with the Chinook when I got the phone call and said I'm been switched to Black Hawks. And I'm like, well, my unit doesn't have Black Hawks, so you're dumb. And, well, upon further investigation, they had switched me to
further revelation. You mean? Yeah.
They had switched me to 1st Battalion down in Los Alamitos, and so they said when you get back from flight school, you'll be going to Iraq with them. So, so I went through Black Hawks, and I finished that. And after 2 years, I came home, and I was home for a couple months, and then they turned around and I went to Iraq with 1st Battalion and to Balad.
Yeah,
we flew out of Balad for a year.
How was that?
It was actually, when you're comparing the deployments between this one and the Marine Corps one, it was 100 times better. Obviously, I'm an officer now and flying instead of walking everywhere. And it was pretty interesting. It was long days. We worked long days, hard days, hot, 120 degrees, sitting in that aircraft, no AC, of course.
Right.
And you're wearing all the body armor and all the gear and stuff, and flying downtown Baghdad, over Sadr City, all these places, all over that country from one end to the other. We flew everywhere. It's just, I met Exhibit.
The Exhibit, the rapper?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were down in, we had landed down in
That's a departure from George Strait.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
We landed down in Baghdad. We had some time before we needed to launch again, and so I went to the flight operations, and somebody said Exhibit was there. I was like, he's not here. I knock on the door because the door's locked, and he opens the door.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So we hung out with him and took some pictures with him and talked with him for a while, and that was pretty cool. Did not expect to see that in Baghdad, but So flew all around down there. They had these, we call them aerostats, these big balloons that were tethered, large hot air balloons attached to cables on a winch. They'd send it up and had a really good camera on it, and so they could do surveillance in that area. And problem is you need to remember where those things are because they send them up to the altitudes that we're flying at. They're 1,000 feet.
And you're talking about the bad guys there, right?
Or are you talking about
ours?
Those are ours. Yeah, those aerostats are ours. So
1,000 feet can get you.
You got to remember.
Yeah.
And it was easy to get, between the heat and the confusion of, navigating and trying to make sure you're where you're not flying over areas. If you flew over certain areas, you get shot at.
Yeah.
So we try to avoid those areas, of course. And then I remembered the last second. I was like, oh, there's an aerostat over here. And I looked up, and there it was. I'm pretty sure we put some tire marks on top of it. The wheels of the Black Hawk. But, yeah, that was one of those moments that
left him your autograph.
Yeah, it's, you don't forget those moments.
Yeah, no, I would imagine you wouldn't.
But so we did a lot of ring routes, flying personnel and equipment from fob to fob, and all day long.
Yeah,
and you could fly for 8 hours total a day, and they'd squeeze out every minute out of you. And so the only time you'd get out is when we would land at a fob, and we'd go to the FARP where they have the fuel operations.
What is FARP?
The fuel
Something refueling.
arming,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And so we'd come into the landing pad. We'd land, kick our customers out because they can't be in when they refuel, and they hot gas the aircraft, keep the blades turning. One pilot jumps out, makes head call, switch out. The other pilot goes, and you get back in, and that's the only time you get out of the aircraft was just to make a head call. And so you're just sitting in that thing all day long. You may or may not eat, so you made sure you had to bring snacks. And
How many days a week?
I think it was like 7 days and then a day off, or 12 days. I can't remember, but
They were ringing you out.
yeah, they'd work you. And so we did that, and then I got put on the night TST, which is deliberate ops, which is air assault.
Yeah.
And I flew air assault at night for about 3 months, and that was legit. 4 ships under darkness at night, all blacked out, inserting.
Got the old nods on?
Flying
really?
MEGs and inserting special forces into to do night raids. Then usually we're always going to capture or kill certain guys that were causing problems in the area.
Was that the days of the deck of cards?
Yeah.
The days of that? Was it?
Yeah.
Right.
There was some of that. So we'd go and insert those guys, and we'd go sit in loggers somewhere on the AUP, and that way we'd have radios, and we'd listen to the radios that's going, and they know when they start getting ready for exfil, then we'd spool up and go in and go pick them up, and they usually had guys, dragging people out with bags on their heads with a little chem light on it, and they'd throw them in the back, and away we go. We had the AC-130 overhead providing cover.
Sure.
And sometimes we had the Kiowas that were circling us, also giving us protection when doing those ops. So it was a lot of interesting stuff. I've seen the cross swords.
I remember. I saw that picture.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. And you flew over. Seems like I recall. Is there some sort of body of water there or something?
There was a lake that we flew over.
I remember that one.
Was, yeah,
I remember you showing me
did
that.
not expect that. Seen some pretty amazing things, but that was it was a long year, but there was some really good flying, and I love the people that I work with and I fly with. They're just amazing people, and they just become like brothers.
Yeah.
And
I'll bring up a guy in a minute. I think you were over there with, but I'll bring that up in a little bit.
all right,
I liked the guy a lot. I think I'll just bring it up. We were doing that training out at I think it was Pixie Woods. And, you were there. You were in the UH-72.
Yeah.
And then the Black Hawk came in, and he was a bald dude.
Is it
bald? It was a bald black guy.
Oh, Sly.
Yeah,
he's good.
Man, dude. What a personality on that guy.
Silky smooth.
Yeah. Did you fly? Was he over there?
Oh yeah.
I thought so. I thought you guys were talking about that.
Yeah.
God, what a personality on that dude.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people are just it's amazing, the people that I've come to know because of that. So very fortunate.
It's probably I would imagine it's probably a small community.
Yeah,
I would imagine probably not.
It is very small.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty special. And
how were the landings over there? It seems like you couldn't loiter, right? Didn't you have to come in? Like whenever you came in to land at the base, you had to come in kind of hot, right?
When you come into some of the fobs, you're low and slow, and you know that's if there's a time where someone's gonna shoot you out of the sky, that's probably when it's gonna be, right? Because we usually fly around 1,000 feet everywhere, so we're out of small arms range. But I was coming into Warhorse one time. I was pretty new. We were still we hadn't been there very long.
Yeah.
And so I was in the right seat. I was on the controls. I was Chalk 2. And Chalk 1 does this big whoa boy at the end, right as we're getting close to the fob. And so I'm just pulling aft cyclic and just dumping all the power out of it because I need to come back and slow down.
You got to tell me what a whoa boy is.
It's like,
it sounds cool.
It's like slamming on the brakes.
Oh, okay. So you pull up and you'll fly right by.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to fly by Chalk 1.
Yeah.
And so I'm right over him, and I could see his main rotor going under my nose of my aircraft. So now I'm looking at him through the chin bubbles, trying to get back because I'm starting to overtake him a little bit. Well, doing that, we're close to the ground, taking all that power out. I didn't know back then you got to start getting it back in early. as a young pilot, I started bringing it in late and started realizing I wasn't bringing enough power, and we're starting to fall through. So I bring in a bunch of power. Well, it takes time for those engines to spool, but those blades pitch immediately. Which
Probably the
creates drag.
heat. Does the heat have anything to do with it also?
It's hot.
Right.
We're heavy and loaded with Joes. And so I bring in all that power. The engines aren't producing that power quite yet. And so what they call drooping the rotor. So the rotor starts to slow down, and that's obviously life is that rotor RPM. And that low rotor horn started going off. And I'd never heard that in real life before. And that was a pretty terrifying thing to hear.
Yeah.
And especially knowing that the landing pads, the Warhorse was like the wires here and the LZ's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no room to do a runoff, and roll out or something. You got to put it on the pad. So I was like, man, I did not want to pancake that thing in there. I was trying to sneak that power in and kind of milk it as I was coming in. It was, it was terrifying is what it was.
It was not silky smooth.
we got on the ground. I didn't bend no sheet metal, so everybody was good. It worked out. But those are the times that you learn lessons.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was exciting.
And then when did you come back home?
We come back 2011. I come back.
Yeah.
And so I'm still in the Los Alamitos unit. I want to come back to Stockton. I would live near there, and that's where I wanted to work. And so they offered me a job flying Chinooks, but I was like, I know Chinooks go to Afghanistan in probably about 6 or 8 months from now, and I'm not trying to turn around and I was already gone for 3 years from home. So 2 years of flight school, 1 year in Iraq, and now if I go to Chinooks now, I'm going to be going to Afghanistan for another year. So I was like, I need to spend some time here. So they offered me a job flying the Lakota, the UH-72 there in Stockton.
Yeah.
So, and they were just getting ready to field those. We hadn't had them yet. The unit still had OH-58s, and they were getting rid of those. They were phasing them out. So I went to, the Army didn't even have a UH-72 school yet. So I had to go to the factory course for Airbus. And so a few of us went out there, went to this factory course, and then went to Mississippi. And
Gone again.
Yeah, in 2012, and started picking up brand new aircraft from the factory, the Airbus factory. I think they're American Eurocopter back then. And we picked up the aircraft and started ferrying them back to California. I think we had 8 of them back then. And then I became a unit trainer, which was kind of just training people to work the camera systems that were on the Lakotas. And that was to become, my goal was I always wanted to be an instructor pilot. So the unit trainer was kind of my way, and working my way up to that. And so I became a pilot in command in the Lakota. I went to the border. I worked down there in Tucson for a while, for a few months, came back from that. And so I was a PC at the time. I finally made my pilot in command, and then eventually went to instructor pilot school there in Tucson and become an instructor pilot.
You like the heat, don't you?
It was actually in the wintertime, which was wonderful.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah.
The summertime is a nightmare, but because it's just so hot. But I really enjoyed it in the wintertime. It was beautiful, and some really good flying. So I got my instructor pilot, and I just kept flying for Alpha Company, 3rd of the 140th there in Stockton, and it's been great. I've been there for several years now, and in that same unit.
I think it's probably a few more than several.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but it was one of the times you were home. You were eastbound Hazleton, and I was a canine, and I saw your truck coming, and man, I whipped that U-turn around, and you pulled over. I was happy to see you. You had already been to Iraq. You were already back. Oh, yeah. No, that was, I think my back was still sore from me and a couple of the guys that had to load that damn gun safe into your house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I hope it hasn't moved.
No.
It'll
never move.
Oh, my gosh. That thing was just, man, I'll tell you what, that thing was heavy as hell. Jesus. And one of the guys, I'm not going to mention any names. One of the guys was a little older, and he was the guide, and us young bucks, we were the one lifting that thing up, for sure, no question, man. I would suspect. Let's get into this. I would suspect that the pinnacle of your career was you were pretty intimately involved in the creation of Stockton's air unit.
Yeah. So
let's talk about that.
So, and I'd always wanted to start an air unit for Stockton. I knew there was a need for it, obviously. Even people that I would talk to, pretty much anybody, when you tell them that we didn't have a air unit, they were shocked. They were
Right.
like, we thought you had one.
Yeah.
And how can you not have one with the size of the city and the type of stuff that goes on there? So, but it was just, it's all funding, right? And so we tried to do it and always wanted to, just couldn't get the money. And
They're a lot of money. They're a lot of money an hour to fly, right?
It's a huge expense.
Right.
I mean, it's a huge benefit.
Outside of the purchase of the aircraft.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much that goes into it. And you have not only the initial startup, but just to maintain it and keep it going. And you can't kind of do it. You either do it or you don't. That's, otherwise that's how you kill people. So you got to be committed to it. And so a couple times it was like it was happening. And they were asking me to start getting a little research done for them. So they had some numbers and then it would get turned off. And then it happened the second time where like, no, it's happening this time. And then it got turned off. And I was like, this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
We're never going to do this. And I was pretty much set on it'll never happen. I remember my mom was still around.
And we're talking years after the bankruptcy and everything else.
Yeah,
it's not like there was a lot of lot of money floating around the city of Stockton.
And this went on for years.
Right.
And I remember my mom, just before she passed, she was adamant that it was going to happen. And sometimes, I don't know, moms just know, and I have no idea how, but she knew it was going to happen. And she kept telling me, and I was like, no, Mom. And finally I was like, I just go along with it. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And believe it or not, it was just, when you know it, I get this phone call from the chief at the time and says, hey, we got the money from the state and this is happening.
Yeah. And he too, I mean, to be clear, he was committed to it also.
He was.
It was just finding the funding for it.
Yeah.
And the ongoing funding
it was
more than anything.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
How he made it happen. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
You could
Kudos.
convince the state of California.
Kudos to him for sure.
To give us a $3 million grant to start a unit.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man. They're going to, build fountains with this money or make statues. Something's going to happen. There's no way this is going to happen.
Right.
And then it kind of dawned on me like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I got to figure out how to start a unit from scratch.
Because you started getting sent off to schools and whatnot, right?
Yeah, and we started doing research at other departments. And I'd flown helicopters for a long time. I'm fine with that, but I usually have all the other stuff taken care of for me, where now I got to figure out how to do all of that from nothing. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So the other agencies are huge. There's so much help. They're so happy to help. They just, anything they can do for you. So that was amazing. I had some great people that were assigned to the unit, the lieutenant and the sergeant. Fantastic people. And couldn't have had a better group working on this, and because they did a lot of the heavy lifting with all the standard operating procedures, all the policies and stuff that we had to, build, and then I have to select the platform, the aircraft, and basically how we're going to implement this. So Sacramento PD had, actually, let's go back a little bit. We had looked at a lot of aircraft. Looked at the EC-120. Fresno was flying those. I thought maybe that'd be good. They're getting older though. They're
found a couple used ones also, right?
Then we looked at this used A-Star down in Ontario, a beautiful aircraft. They brought it up. We went for a flight, and we went through. We're like, okay, this is our aircraft. It was used, had all the equipment in it. It's going to save us a little money because it was cheaper being used. And but then again, it's like buying a used car. You don't know really what you're getting, even though it looks like it's pretty solid.
Is that the one? It was coming up though on a major. Wasn't it coming up on a major
in a while,
rebuild or whatever?
Yeah,
it was a lot of hours.
Yeah. So
I remember that.
We really jumped through some hoops and went through battle after battle to get this. We're like, hey, but government moves slow, and so it's taken forever to get the okay to pull the trigger on this. And finally, the day that they say, okay, you can purchase that A-Star, we reach out to them, and the night before, another agency came in and heard that we were looking at it, and they swooped in and bought it. And so it was like, seemed like it was the end of the world. It's like, okay, we'll never find another helicopter that's going to work, and Bell kept...
Everything happens for a reason, though.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yep.
And Bell kept coming, they kept calling and like, hey, we want to bring this 505 to you and show you that, because everybody's wanting to bring aircraft for us to look at.
Bell 505 Jet Ranger X.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, I seen it when I was at HAI in Dallas, and I was like, no, it was the first time I'd seen it in person.
There was only 1 or 2 agencies that were actually flying.
There was
at
only
the-
one.
One.
Sacramento.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I just kept turning them down, and finally I was like, fine, just bring it out here. We'll go burn your gas. That's fine. It doesn't cost me nothing to go ride in it. And so they brought it out, and he let me do everything from startup to takeoff. He's very trusting, not knowing me from Adam, but it was super easy to fly. Had a bunch of power, lots of room, air conditioning. I mean, all these great things that you just like.
Right.
I was thoroughly impressed. As soon as we landed, I told the lieutenant, I was like, we need this. This is our aircraft right here.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is this the aircraft, the platform that we need, but it'll be brand new under warranty, which also helps. Because
Yeah.
I knew, start a unit from scratch, you can't have any failures. You can't have any mistakes. It can't be. It just,
Right.
it doesn't take much. It takes a lot to make it succeed. It doesn't take much for it to fail.
Yeah.
And once it's gone, it's gone. It's not coming back. So I can't have an aircraft down for maintenance all the time where people are like, well, why are we spending all this money? And the aircraft's never even available when we need it.
Right.
It's got to be available. So I figured being under warranty, that would be huge. Being brand new, less likely to have unexpected maintenance.
Brand new avionics, probably.
Yeah.
Probably beautiful.
And the beautiful thing is that Sacramento had already cracked that code on buildup of equipment and what worked and what didn't there, because they were the first police agency to be flying the 505. So they were amazing.
Yeah.
We went and checked out their aircraft, flew with them, figured out the avionics package that they had and what would work for us. So we basically mirrored their build.
Yeah.
And so we were on the road to starting this thing up. And of course, we needed all this equipment, a lot of support equipment. Needed a hangar. We found a hangar. We got that secured.
What was the training like?
The training, I went to Fort Worth, to Bell, and did the introductory course for the 505, which was fantastic. They had a great facility. They break down all the systems. You go through everything, emergency procedures, and then you go fly for a few days. Lots of autos. It's a great aircraft. I love flying the 505. But so it's time to receive the aircraft, but you have to go get it. They don't.
Really? Where was that at?
So they tell me Quebec, Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Canada,
Right.
but I've never been there. I don't know where Quebec is.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump from California.
I didn't realize it was so far away.
Yeah.
That's so cold in the wintertime. It didn't help that they had like this polar vortex thing going on. So it was like 40 below when we were there. Everything is just iced over, frozen.
40 below.
Yeah. So if everything's brand new to the department, they don't know anything, all the brass doesn't know anything about aviation. I'm trying to explain to them and teach them. It's not like going and picking up a patrol car and driving it back. This is much different than that. So trying to get them to understand that. We get there, something was wrong with registration, so it takes about 3 days to get that squared away. So we're already behind schedule. And I figure every day that we're not back in Stockton, they think, every night's like a party and we're at the strip
You're
club.
goofing off somewhere. Yeah.
And so I felt this feeling like I needed to do my best to try to expedite this trip back. But that'll get you in trouble when you have that, mission has to be accomplished kind of mindset. You got to get out of that. And
Right.
it was kind of creeping in. And so we take it's freezing cold. Me and the sergeant, we go out there. He's not a pilot at the time. And so it's just me. And weather calls, it's just all on me.
Yeah.
Go out there. It's freezing cold that morning. We get in the aircraft. I hadn't been in it in probably like 3 months. I was at the school, and I flew it for like, I think it was 2 weeks. Maybe a week that we flew. I hadn't seen it for months, and so now here I am back in this thing trying to remember what all the buttons are. I go out and take like a 5-minute flight with their chief pilot, and then he jumps out and
See you later.
here we go.
We got paid. See ya.
Yeah. So Quebec's like near the east coast of Canada, so it's about as far as you could get to get back to California. And so I had
Let's hear some of the stops. How many flight hours do you get before you have to land?
you're flying about 2.5 hours, before you need fuel, but they don't put fuel stops exactly 2.5 hours away. So you got to figure this out yourself. And you can't get it wrong. You don't want to be the guy in the middle of a pasture somewhere calling someone to ask them to bring you some jet fuel. It's not going to go over well. So, and I don't want to have a negative before this whole unit even starts, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, a lot of pressure. So my port of entry was going to be Burlington, Vermont. So that's where I got to cross the border into the United States, and I had to do this whole thing with customs, and you got to tell them where you're going to cross at what time, and you got to be pretty close to that. And we land at Burlington. It's frozen. Everything's iced over, and we go through customs there, and immediately we got a snowstorm coming. So we have to end up spending the night. We were going to continue on that night and can try to make it to Niagara Falls, but we had to stay there that night. The next morning we get up and the weather's kind of like, it's pretty good in Burlington. I'm trying to, my first fuel stops is Swansea, New York. I'm trying to make it there. And in between, there's not a lot of reporting places to report weather, but it looks kind of, it's a little skosh, but I'm like, we got to at least make an effort, right? So we'll go out there. The Adirondack Mountains are between us and Oswego. So we got to get through those mountains. Well, those mountains, they don't look that big on the map. They're way bigger. they're only like that wide. Yeah. Well, they're wider when you get out there.
Yeah.
So
you're looking at them.
Yeah. And so I flew a couple passes up into the mountains, and it got kind of junky. So I turned around and come back and make my way down the range, and I'd find another one to go up, and that wasn't good. Well, I finally find one, and it's like pretty good. So I'm going to keep following us up and see how it goes until we get to the point where I'm far enough to where I'm closer to Oswego than I am to go back to Burlington.
Right.
So we're at the point of no return, right? Well, of course, that's when everything goes sideways. It starts snowing. The cloud layer starts coming down. The mountains are still going up. And we don't have de-ice capabilities. This thing shouldn't be flying in the snow. And poor Sergeant, man, he doesn't know any better that I'm sitting there and I'm starting to realize that we're probably not going to live to the end of this flight.
Yeah, don't say anything.
No, there was no reason to tell him.
Ignorance is bliss.
I was just going to ruin his day.
Yeah.
You know, it's better that he just doesn't know. Hey, I remember at one point him asking me, he's like, is that ice on the building on the windscreen? And I looked over and I was like, yeah, that's
Turn
nice.
the defroster on.
If you could not point out things that I can't do anything about, I'd appreciate it. But, and I remember it had some terrain alert that kept going over and over. This woman's voice kept saying, terrain, alert, terrain. And it just kept going and going. And you couldn't reset it. It just kept going. And I'm already stressed because I'm trying to pick my way through these valleys because I can't go over the mountains because of the cloud cover and it's snowing. And I told the sergeant, I was like, I don't care what you got to do. You start cutting wires. I don't care. Figure out a way to turn that off because it's driving me nuts and I can't concentrate. And I'm trying to keep us alive here. And he did a great job. He went through menus and finally got that turned off so I could at least concentrate on what I was doing. And how we made it through those mountains, I have no idea.
How many stops did you make before you got back to California?
I couldn't even.
A lot, huh?
There was
200. If you're only going how far?
2.5 hours. So
yeah, that's not far.
We stopped at Swansea, New York. We landed there, and at that point, I kind of needed some time to myself.
Yeah,
after that near-death experience. And I told the sergeant, I was like, look, I told him afterwards the danger that we were in, and I was like, I don't want to ever be in that situation ever again. So if it even looks like the weather's going to be not good, then they're just gonna have to deal with it, and we're gonna stay. So
good for you.
We went to Niagara Falls. We stayed there that night. The next day we continued. I flew through downtown Buffalo, New York, about 1,500 feet. Just the coolest things. Flew along Lake Erie. We got into Indiana. My oldest brother lives there. We stopped there, and we ended up getting weathered in there for a few days. There's just no leaving. And then eventually we got out of Indiana and started making our way west. And made it to Carlsbad where we dropped the helicopter off, and they were going to put the camera system and everything in it. And then 3 months later, we went down there and picked it up. And, it was pretty good.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that brother in Indiana, he's the cool brother. Not that shady cat. Not that shady cat, man.
Yeah.
You got to watch that guy. Goodness sakes.
You get us all together.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Lowry in one place.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's going to be some shit broke. For sure.
Yeah, it's like they say, like kind of like putting a Marine in a room with a rock. You come back half hour later, the rock's broken, missing, or stolen. You ask him what happened, he'll tell you it was like that when he got there.
Speaking of breaking, I think with that Bell 505, I think didn't you do something that had far-reaching, maybe worldwide ramifications?
I always like to make a name for myself.
Yeah, this is a good story. I like this.
We're getting ready to launch on a pursuit. So we run out to the aircraft, and I jump in the seat and buckle up and turn the computer on, and I'm waiting for everything to boot up in the aircraft, and I'm doing flight controls checks. Everything's turned off, so it's just a dry movement of the flight controls to make sure there's no binding or restrictions. I pull the collective all the way up, and I'm pulling it. With the amount of force that I would figure would require to pull it with the hydraulics off. So, you're compressing a servo with hydraulic fluid in it. And so you kind of pull on it a little bit. And as it gets to the top, I feel a pop. Immediately had that unhappy feeling kind of flow over me. And I was just, all I could think is like, oh, no way that just happened. I looked down and I had the collective in my hand and it's completely broke off. I was like, oh, I'm in so much trouble. I cannot believe this just happened.
The Marine and the Rock.
I can't. Yeah. I've never heard of like a flight control breaking off. It's so bad. When we called the maintenance people and told them, they thought we were just messing with them. They thought it was a joke or a prank. We were like, no, literally the collective broke off from the floor. What do we do? And they're like, let me get back to you. This never happened.
Never happened.
Well, it ended up grounding all the 505s in the world.
Yeah.
And so they all had to be inspected. And lo and behold, they found others that were cracked and going to probably break as well. So, and they had to, get the engineers come up with a fix.
Right.
And they had to do this little fix to all 505s in the world before they could fly again. So, and I was at...
had to put your mark on Bell.
Yeah,
Put your mark on Bell. Let them know.
They
Know Lowry was in the house.
I never got a thank you.
Yeah. All the pilots should have thanked you.
Yeah. They just seemed very put out.
Yeah.
I got phone calls from engineers in Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because
wanting to know what your workout routine was.
Well, they're all French Canadian. It sounded like everybody was arguing all the time, but that's just how they talk.
Yeah.
They're really loud and animated. But so I had answer a lot of questions for that, and but they got that fixed. And I was at the recurrent training in Fort Worth for Bell, and it was only me in the class, so me and the instructor. I'm sitting in the classroom, and a guy in a flight suit's walking by, and he stops, and he pokes his head, and he's looking at me. I'm looking at him like, do I owe you money or something? I don't understand. And he's like,
going to be on in a minute.
He's like, no, I just wanted to put a face to the name. He said, I knew it. He said, when I heard about what happened, I knew it was some buff cop that did it.
That's great.
You're welcome.
Well, I have been I'll tell you, I count myself as very fortunate. I have flown with you several times in the UH-72.
Yeah, we have.
Been in the simulator with you. That was a good time.
Been in the 505.
Yep. Yeah. You guys hoisted my big ass up into the 505. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. It felt weird leaving my wheelchair on the ground, but that's all right. You brought me back to it.
Yeah. I always say, if you're flying with me, you're safe because I like me.
Yeah.
And
more than anybody.
I won't let nothing happen to me. So if you're in the same aircraft, we're good.
How many flight hours are you up to now?
I'm over 3,500 now. Somewhere. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
And you're a Warrant Officer 12. What are you?
Yeah. You're funny.
Yeah.
I was CW4. So that was cool because I figured I would probably leave the Guard before I ever got to 4. So to get that was kind of a neat milestone to reach. And then to get my Master Aviator wings, that was always a goal. I never thought I would be around long enough for that.
An instructor pilot, right?
Yeah, and to get the IP, that was a big deal. So it's been, I've been very fortunate. Yeah.
What's your total time in the military now? Counting everything.
A little over 21 years between the Guard and the Marine Corps. Yeah. So, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. I'll tell you, we'll change from all that heavy conversation to something a little lighter.
Oh.
I think you know me well enough to. I have always said that. I think law enforcement's a great career. I absolutely loved it. I mean, absolutely. But I think to keep yourself sane and probably keep things together, you have to have outside interests.
Yeah.
I think it's a must. I think you have to do it. And I don't care what it is, but it has to be something that you enjoy or something that you want to do. Because maybe one day that law enforcement career is no longer going to be there.
Yeah.
And you better have something fun to do or something to occupy your mind. You have any hobbies at all? Anything you like to do?
There's a couple things.
Yeah, a couple things.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got? I know
well,
you do. I know you do.
You know, when my dad was still around, he had an old World War II Jeep that he restored, and he was always wanting me to do that too. And he wanted me to get a Jeep, and I was like, "You already got a Jeep." And I remember we were at a show somewhere, a military show, and there was these tracked vehicles. I was like, "If I got something, I'd get one of those."
Yeah.
Well, his buddy's like, "Well, I know where you can get one." I was like, "Oh boy, this is happening."
Was this the Weasel?
That was the M29 Weasel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So amphibious, World War II amphibious tracked vehicle.
Maybe I'll plug a video into.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll plug a video into this because that was
Well, that,
I got a pretty good one from ground level.
yeah. Yeah, we had some times.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, that kind of started that whole thing of restoring military vehicles,
Yeah.
which I went through a whole gamut of them. You know, the M274 Mule, I restored one of those. There was the 5-ton.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. The tree puller, stump crusher.
Oh yeah, I
Coffee.
loved when there was
coffee
trees,
vehicle.
when trees needed to come out.
Yeah.
we'd just drive over them.
Mhm.
It was so much fun. That thing was a blast. But that ended up getting moved along, and then the M998 Humvee, we put a gun turret in that. Still
Yeah.
got that one.
That will clear traffic.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and
I like that.
We kind of transitioned. Got some motorcycles, of course. Got to ride bikes, and then that kind of transitioned into doing some cars.
Yeah.
So in the middle of restoring Bandit car.
Yeah,
79
yeah.
Trans Am T-top.
We're gonna throw some fake mustaches
Oh, yeah.
on, and
Yep, gonna get the
We're
fake
gonna have a good
mustache.
time.
We're gonna put eastbound and down on loop and
Oh, yeah.
just do burnouts.
we're gonna go. You bet.
So-
I'll leave my wheelchair.
Yeah.
At the house for that too. I won't need it.
Nah.
I may need it again,
Yeah.
but that's all right. That's all
Yeah,
right.
so we got some other vehicle projects going too. So yeah, that's been
You got some great motorcycles, but I'll tell you, my favorite is the one. It broke my heart whenever you said it. You're gonna get rid of the RC.
RC51.
That RC51. That was the that was a badass super bike for
Yeah,
for
so-
a couple years.
Yeah, the Nikki Hayden.
Nikki Hayden, Miguel. Didn't
super-
Miguel Duhamel? He was on that thing, I
But-
thought, for a little
But
bit.
that's the Nikki Hayden replica
Yeah.
of his actual bike that he won the AMA Super
Yeah. It was
Superbike
Yeah, it was super
World
bike.
Championship.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I love the bike, but it got to the point where I was either gonna.
Sounds so good.
Oh yeah, it sounds great. 1000 twin. I was gonna end up in jail or dead because there's something wrong with me. I don't have that thing in my brain that tells me that this is probably not a good idea.
I have seen you. You too have had some motorcycle accidents. and
Yeah.
I witnessed one for
Yeah.
sure on Lincoln. I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
All of a sudden, those taillights they were upright, then they were sideways.
Yeah.
I knew something went wrong.
Made
Yeah.
an illegal U-turn right in front of me, and then
I remember that night.
the March Lane one. That one, I took a
Yeah,
little
March Lane.
took an unscheduled nap in the intersection there for a while.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one. But yeah. I mean, yeah.
Motors is certainly something that you just either like it or you
Oh,
don't.
yeah,
You either
it-
love it or you don't.
Yeah,
you can't like it.
It's a different
For
breed
sure.
of people that do
Oh,
that
yeah.
and love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing. It was the best job. You know, I always talk about whenever there's more than one bike, right? There's two of us at a light, and
Yeah.
we're getting on an on-ramp to the freeway. There's nothing. We never spoke about it. We've never said it. It's just an unspoken thing. You know, when that light goes green, there's going to be a race to the top of that on-ramp.
Yes.
It's just how we're trained and how we're wired.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
No.
We don't need to do this, but it's going to happen every single time.
And at the top of the ramp, it is a merge lane. So I mean, you can't be going slower than the traffic.
Oh, but it's
for
on.
sure. You don't want to go over the speed limit.
Yeah.
But you do merge,
Yeah.
right? You make sure you merge at the appropriate
Yeah.
speed.
I am not getting beat to the top of that on
No.
ramp.
No.
And if I do, then you probably you jumped me.
It was.
And we'll have to do it again.
Somebody cheated. Somebody cheated.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What about RC stuff? I know
Yeah.
you love the RC jet turbine
Yeah.
RC helicopters.
I did that for years.
You did?
Yeah, for years and years. Building scale RC helicopters, flying them, and
And creating your own parts, right?
Yeah, you make your
Didn't
own
you have
parts.
a 3D printer and all that?
Well, before that, you just made everything with a Dremel. Making things with your hand, with your hands, and creating something that looks exactly like the full size.
And these are scale. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
we're talking-
large. Yeah, 7 foot.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're not little.
And so then people, when they see it and they're just like, "Oh, where'd you buy that?" I said, "I didn't buy it." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I made it." They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, it didn't exist, and then I made it, and there it is."
Yeah.
And they just couldn't wrap their brain around it. And I love that because you're just making things that just from nothing.
Yeah.
And the 3D printing came along, which is a great tool, which I like. But I think it takes a lot less creativity to just be able to be good at drawing something on a computer and have the machine print it for you
Right.
instead of making it from scratch. But
Go to bed, wake up, and it's already made for you.
yeah, I think there's something to be said about both ways of doing things. But I like the craftsmanship of making things from nothing. But yeah, so I enjoy doing that. And
Tell me about that. Tell me about that one you built. And what would it be? Memoriam for the 160th, right?
Yeah, so I made.
That was badass.
Yeah,
I'll get a picture of it in here too.
Built the MH-47 Chinook from the 160th from the one that was shot down in Afghanistan. I had a buddy, or I still have a buddy, that flies for the 160th, so I got in touch with him and asked him if they would mind if I did this, because I want to be respectful to these guys and to the crew that was lost. And
Yeah.
they were all about it, and they thought it was great. And so I built this MH-47 with the big fuel boom on it, sticking out the front, and just exactly the way it was. Yeah, it's all black.
Yeah.
And it just the scale. I put my heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
And sent pictures back there to them, and they absolutely loved it. And actually wanted me to bring it out there, but it's a long ways to take it. But yeah, so that was meaningful. And it came out. It's one of my favorite builds that I've ever done, because it just came out great.
I've seen a lot of your builds, and that was
that
one's pretty touching to look at for sure, knowing the history of it.
Yeah, and when you got pictures of it flying, and people are like, I can't tell that that's not a real Chinook, and that's when you know, okay, I did my job.
Yeah. And what was the name of that? What was the name of that helicopter?
Evil Empire.
Evil Empire, right?
The crew chief, one of the crew chiefs, was a big Star Wars fan, so they had that painted on the tailgate. So yeah, that was very special.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that for a while, and would go to a show in Woodland every year, and
big show.
Yeah, I would compete there, and then eventually got sponsored by a company out of Germany that makes the fuselages and stuff. And so I was a team pilot for them, still am. And yeah, so that was
ever win any awards at that show in Woodland?
Yeah, almost every year. The best one though, the Chinook. I took the Chinook. It won. I think best military flight, but it also won People's Choice, which to me is legit. That's the most meaningful thing, where people come and look at all these amazing builds. These guys are just amazing, and they just keep getting better and better, and it's kids that keep raising the bar. And so for everyone to come in and see mine amongst all these other aircraft that are gorgeous and select that one as their choice, that was special.
Right on.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good. I don't think it's any secret to anybody that knows me, one of my favorite hobbies is archery.
Oh, yeah.
Like, almost to the next level.
Yeah.
I had to slow it down a little bit because of the recent move and stuff like that. But, I'm certainly back to where I want to be. Not quite yet, but, back to where I'm going to be shooting quite a bit. And I know I think I punked you into it a little bit, right? I mean, you got some pretty nice bows right now for sure. I've made sure you spent some good money on some archery equipment.
Yes. Yeah. We went from nothing to a lot pretty quick.
We went from nothing. You went from I already had a lot.
Yeah.
You went from nothing to a lot. And then by the very fortunate graces of Operation Enduring Warrior.
Yeah.
Right. Which, I'm going to have some people on from that eventually, because that is such a great program that's so near and dear to my heart.
They're amazing.
They are. We got to go back to the Black. It's not around anymore, but the Black Rifle Coffee Ranch in San Antonio and shot.
That was unbelievable.
That was a good time. And you shot with, you were with Matt, weren't you?
I got to meet Matt Best. What's his name? The Ranger, the Army Ranger guy.
Oh, you got to narrow it down with that crew.
We were at that dinner that night. I can't think of his name.
Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy.
Yeah. Tim Kennedy. Yeah.
And awesome guy. comes and sits down and
Who's the other guy?
introduces himself, and I was like, bud, I couldn't remember your name just now, but
yeah,
but at the time, I was like, I know who you are, bud.
Yeah, hey, it's a pleasure for you to meet me.
Yeah.
He didn't know who you were.
No idea who you think I am.
Yeah.
But
That was a good time.
They treated us so good.
They did.
Took care of us.
Yeah.
And so during Warrior, they did so many things for us. Lots of archery stuff, which I absolutely was having a ball at. I still do. They flew us to Atlanta.
Yeah, you did did you go on a tank?
Yeah, the largest
I didn't
aquarium.
go to that. Yeah.
And we swam with the tiger or whale sharks or
Yeah.
a bunch of fish, rays, manta
Right.
rays, all kinds of stuff. And just a blast. And they took care of us the whole time. Just an amazing organization that takes care of veterans and first responders.
I am absolutely going to get you to go with me to the Gunnison gut check next year.
you
I've
keep
done it
trying
twice.
You keep trying to get me
Come
to
on.
do that. And it sounds like a lot of work.
It's an easy 16 miles.
Yeah.
I'm in a wheelchair. Come on. I don't want to hear from you, Walker, for goodness
I think the
sakes.
Marine Corps kind of took the fun out
Wore
of
you out.
Yeah.
Just think of it as a ruck. Then,
No,
right?
that's the worst thing you can say to me. I want nothing to do with it, bud. But I will root you on
Yeah.
from home.
Yeah.
Call me.
From
I'll give you words of encouragement.
You'll fly the drone over me?
Ah,
Yeah, from base.
I don't even want to see people rucking. Right? I'm good.
Oh my gosh. It is archery. I'll tell you, for folks, and one of the things I'm going to do, I mean, you don't really count because you're good at it already, but one of the things I'm going to do is, people that are going to be on this, we're going to get them to shoot a bow. I'll tell you, within 10 arrows, they're going to be hitting the bullseye. There's nothing I like more than getting new folks that have never shot a bow to do
That's
it.
pretty cool. Yeah,
And
that's a good idea.
it is such a I find it is such a mind calming, thing to do.
Yes, it
Because
is.
when you pull that string back, the only thing you think about is what you're going to do, and you're always chasing that perfect release and that
Yes.
perfect arrow.
Yes.
And Caleb Brewer,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Caleb is probably one of the kindest, most genuine human beings that I've ever come in contact with.
Yeah, he's a legit dude.
He owns Stick Sniper
Yeah,
Archery in
I love
Tucson, and he calls it a mindful meditation or active meditation. I think is what he calls it.
Yeah.
And
It's
he
true.
is a fantastic individual.
Yeah.
I think anybody that meets that guy is just a better person for having known him,
Sure.
for sure. So I know you got a couple bows. You got a Hoyt, right?
Yeah.
RX
7.
RX7.
It's a 7,
Yeah.
I believe.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah, I like both those bows. You got me the
All
second
right.
one.
Yeah, that was a retirement gift.
Yeah.
It was the Hoyt. It'll come to me. It was just
Stratus.
No, it wasn't Stratus. That's a competition bow. I got that one though.
Of course.
I got a bow or two. It looks like I don't know which ones hang from the ceiling, stalagmites or
Yeah.
stalactites, but
There you go.
yeah, that's what it looks like in the garage.
Nice.
For sure.
As it should.
Yeah. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. I'm pretty much I've had people ask me, and I'll do a podcast on my accident, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I was in Santa Clara Valley Medical Center for acute rehab for close to 3 months. You probably know where I'm going with this. And, I had absolutely no idea that I was going to come around the corner one day and you were going to be sitting on a bench there. And that was, let me tell you, that was probably one of my best afternoons for sure. Because I know trying to get you from the
French camp.
secreted bowels of your shop at
Yeah.
the Skeleton Key is an act.
Yeah, I don't
And,
like to leave the compound.
Yeah, you were sitting there. You were looking angry until I came around.
I'm
You were
not-
looking down like, damn, why am I here?
I'm not good in public.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
there's
It wasn't
people
really.
and
It
stuff.
wasn't really public.
Yeah, but that whole journey with you from the time that the incident occurred all the way through actually was pretty rough. I think it was I think I had a harder time dealing with it than you for some reason. Sometimes I didn't understand that. It's because of the person that you are. But
there's a picture of you. I think you were in your guard uniform. There's a picture of you. Did you come for the guard when my accident happened?
Not that.
I thought you were.
Maybe
in your,
I was.
I think you were. You
I
were
think
in
I
your.
was.
You were in your camo uniform, and you were standing next to the helicopter. I think whenever they were loading me up into it,
we were trying to stuff you into the 407, and you didn't fit. We couldn't close the door.
That's odd. I'm a little dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I went from 6'3" to 4'9", like that.
Oh, we kept trying to close the door, and it's like, push more inside, and the door wouldn't shut. And I'm like, oh, you're going to fly with the door open? I don't know what we're going to do here. We kept pushing you, and finally got you stuffed in there. And
you were part of that. You were there the day I went back and met the flight crew.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That pilot, he was Jay. I think he's going to be on here too.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
He was a good dude.
But that day, well, before that, so I think you were still UC Davis, right? And I had gone there. I think we were all there, and it was the first time they let you out of the room. You were still in this bed, and they were bringing you out and going to go out into the yard.
Yes,
for the first time.
Yeah, it was you and two other guys, right?
I was so excited.
Yeah,
that I was there with my friend, and we were getting to go outside, and you were getting to see the sunlight for the first time in ages.
Long time.
I got so excited they almost threw me out of the hospital because I was getting carried away.
It was so. I remember it was so bright that I could, because I hadn't been outside of that.
No.
And I think it was soon after they took the vent out of me too.
And so it just felt like a big step, like we were moving forward to having you back, instead of feeling like we were in this battle that we could still lose you. And so that was it was an important day. And I got a little carried away.
They
warned me, and they told me one more time and you're going to go. So I had to calm down a little bit. But,
I say it to this day. I say all the time, I am such a small part of this equation. I am maybe 10 or 15%. And, certainly my wife and the kids and family and friends, you guys absolutely make up the other 85, 90% of it. This is not, this would be quite the journry, to try and just do it on your own.
Oh, sure. Oh, I totally.
Would be, you
absolutely.
guys.
No, that was pretty gnarly, man.
And this, and I'll say it, I say it, the administration at the time, the city administration, the people of this town, they were of Stockton. I couldn't imagine having this accident, or going through this anywhere else.
Yeah.
Anywhere else.
It's easy to see the bad and kind of start to get jaded, but there's a lot of good people in Stockton. And I remember my accident, there on March Lane. I went down on a bike, and I don't remember anything after. I remember approaching the intersection, and then I don't remember anything else after that. But apparently, I was laying in the middle of the intersection, hot summer day, taking a little nap there, and apparently people came out and were holding a blanket over the top of me to block the sun from me because I'm laying in the streets, snoozing away there, and calling for help on my radio on the bike. And these are citizens that people not only they usually don't like cops, but I'm a motor cop. They like us even less, and they're still out there trying to take care of me. And it was pretty touching to know that there's people out there that are still willing to do that. I
had people that I'd written citations to, that were messaging on Facebook and stuff like that, wanting to know how I was doing.
Yeah.
I got a little fun poked at me about that. I guess I wasn't as rough as I thought I was.
Yeah.
But, all it was, every day to me was nothing but meeting, 10 on a good day.
Yeah.
10 to, so many. It was nothing but social contacts to me. I met a lot of great people. This Stockton, I've said for years and years, Stockton, and that's part of the reason I wanted to do this, get this podcast going, Stockton is not It is nothing like what the national narrative or the national media would lead you to believe.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some bad stuff going on, but there's a lot of, there's a lot of good people living here.
A lot.
Making their living and living their lives in
as well as I do in the morning when we go to coffee, sometimes it would be tough to buy your own cup of coffee. I mean, it was
pretty,
this is a fun, and I was born here. I mean, I was born at Dameron Hospital, I mean, I'm from this town. Yeah. I mean, but it's, I like it, and I absolutely, I never had a problem living here while I worked here either.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, if anything, it teaches you you better talk nice to folks. Cause you never know when you're going to see them shopping.
No, that's true. Yeah.
What do you got, man? I'm glad you were on here. I'm glad you were the first person. You got anything else? What didn't I cover?
I think we covered just about everything there was, I think,
This city, I'm going to say, was very fortunate to have you in their employment.
Well,
I mean, you brought that air program.
I was
to
grateful.
This city.
I was very lucky. Not only did they take a chance, hire me,
right.
20 something years ago. And then all the opportunities I got while I was on the PD, I was, always had all these things that through your career where it's like, there's battles with, bankruptcy and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that was tough years.
We should make more. And that job, doing it there. Yeah. You should make a lot more. But sometimes things don't work out the way they should, and it is what it is. I'm still grateful to be making the money that I'm making with a high school diploma.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm very fortunate. So I've had a wonderful life. It's been a hell of a ride. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm very grateful. So I appreciate that opportunity. I appreciated getting to start the air unit, and it was a huge undertaking, and I had help, really good help, and to get it up and running. And in the first few years, I was the only pilot, so it was just me. If I wasn't able to go to work that day, the aircraft didn't fly, and so that was a lot of work. And but it was the greatest work I've ever dreamed of. It was like a dream come true that I got to have. It's like my own air unit. It was wonderful, and the best job ever. Flying over the city, you feel like you have like superpowers because you can do so much from overhead, and nobody can get away from you. It was just the greatest feeling.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and I just felt like, it was very important to me when we decided how we were going to paint the aircraft. I was like, well, that's easy. It's got to be black and white.
I remember.
My customer. My customer is the patrolman or the patrol officer, and they're driving a patrol car. The helicopter needs to look like the patrol car because that's my connection to my customer.
Right.
Because without them, I got no reason. I don't have a job. So they were like, well, give us options. They always wanted options. Like, what about blue? What about, all these other colors? I'm like, you can have any color you want as long as it's black and white.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's going to be.
Hashtag nope.
Yeah, and I dug in on that one. And that's just how it was going to be.
That's great.
And so then they did a rendering of black, white, black, and I was like, okay, no, now it looks like you glued 3 pieces together to make a helicopter. No, it needs to be black top, front, and back, just like the patrol cars. And so they finally got it right, and it came out perfect. So very happy with that.
It is a very, outside of the color scheme, it is a very, very distinct looking helicopter. There's not another. When you see that helicopter, not that one, but that Bell 505 Jet Ranger X in the sky. There is no other helicopter that looks like it.
No, there's not. And
it is a sight to behold for sure.
So the chief chose the name, which was going to be Falcon.
Falcon 1. No,
so
it's Falcon 10.
Well, he said it's Falcon, and I said, okay, you're going to choose the name. Can I choose the number? And he's like, I don't care. So my call sign, once in the Army, once you become a pilot in command, you get a call sign for my unit. We were Shadow, and so I picked 10. That was available at the time years ago, and so I've always been Shadow 10.
Yep.
Not Shadow 10, not Shadow 1.
We're gonna fight.
Shadow.
We're gonna
10. Yeah. So make that clear. So then I decided I'd make Falcon 10, and so that's what it is, and that's what it'll always be.
Was there any other names in the hopper before you decided on Falcon?
Yeah, they had all kinds of like Care Bear and all kinds of, I mean, there was a lot of options that were not going to happen.
No, never.
So, but yeah, so it became Falcon 1-0, and I'm still Shadow 1-0 on the Army side.
You are.
Yes,
You are.
Yeah.
Well, you have certainly left a very, very good mark on this police department in this city for sure.
Yeah, it was an honor to get to do that. And I'm very proud of that. And trained up a couple young guys that are flying now, and they're doing great things every day. So out there, and the thing is they have the same burning desire to help the patrol officers, to help the people, the community,
Right.
and it drives them to go out there. And as I tell them, I said, every day is a job interview. We got to prove ourselves. We got to prove our worth, because this program is very expensive. And it takes very little for people to start saying, hey, maybe we need to not be spending all this money on this. We could use it over here to do this or do that.
Yeah.
Where it is very important. But you got to make sure that you're proving how important it is by putting in the work every single day.
For you.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good note to wrap this up on. If anybody wanted to get in contact with you, where would they do that? Is that like an Instagram thing? Are you still Shadow 10?
I think I'm Shadow 10 actual.
Yeah, Shadow 10 actual.
Yeah.
All right, for all your fans out there, 'cause I know you got some fans, for goodness sakes. All right. Well, I say we ended on that. That's a good note.
All right.
Thanks again for being here, buddy.
Absolute honor to get to be here, especially for the first show. I mean, it can only be, uphill from here, right?
That's right. I don't know. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
See you later.
You just experienced the Rolling Around podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe for more thrilling stories, exciting adventures, and special guests from all over. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Rolling Around Podcast. Do you want to be on our next episode? Contact us at the Rolling Around Podcast at gmail.com or give us a ring on our trap phone at 209-242-5814. Thanks for watching. See you next time.